Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Fallout 3. Let's continue. So this should hopefully just reload us into Tranquility Lane. Here we're supposed to be finding Dad. We're in this simulation. We started sitting on this bench specifically so when you stood up it would go into that first person perspective and you would see that you are playing as a little girl now instead of your normal character. We can't hit B and bring up the VATS. Instead, you just have this little watch. And you have like a zoom ability with the left trigger all of a sudden, which could have been really useful in so many other systems. And if we can go into like a fight stance with the right trigger, you do still have VATS for some reason. That's Doc. You can't jump. Oh yeah, you can jump. Alright, so at a certain level, yeah, this is supposed to be a big reveal. Like you're seeing actual trees, but it's in this black and white. So you're seeing full houses that we've only seen destroyed in the past. You're seeing what is grass. I wouldn't be surprised if when this game originally came out, the grass literally could not be rendered if it wasn't black and white. Although I don't know how much you actually would save by doing that. Notice that the doghouse there had an activate thing here. Suffice it to say, there's some things you can activate. We don't want to do that yet. We want to talk to the person in charge and get the story. In a lot of ways, this is probably a lot better way to try and live out your experience of post-war instead of potentially bringing out the Gek and trying to create a new Garden of Eden. We need to talk to people.
Hiya, kiddo. What's the good word?
Let's see. What can you tell me about the neighborhood? It's a good question to ask.
Nice place. Real nice. Everyone's friendly and always happy to lend a hand. Can't say that I have, kiddo. Don't worry. I'm sure he'll turn up.
You kind of assume that since you just showed up and everybody accepted it, that these people don't know that they're in a simulation.
Yep, you've got that right. Heck of a day to get some work done outdoors.
Because if you go with this route...
Is that so? Well, you ought to tell that to my big toe, kiddo. Hurts like the dickens since I stubbed it earlier today. Feels pretty real to me.
So yeah, they think it's real. And that's kind of no surprise. What's interesting here is you've got plants that pretty much don't show up anywhere else in the game. This is the Dither's residence, milk bottles, garden gnomes. What this immediately reveals is why there is a garden gnome in the game at all. Why there are milk bottles in the game at all. And it would have been fairly easy, even in this huge reveal, to have not had that content. Look, you can get 0 rad, 30 HP health by drinking from the faucet. Here we have a Henderson mailbox you can't open. Bicycle. Henderson residence. Here you can see the full versions of the cars. But kind of boring to look at, frankly. In black and white. You kind of would have wanted this just to be in color, or for it to kind of quickly change from black and white to color. I think that would have worked fairly nicely. This is an incredibly small area, and thus that is how we have so many trees and so much foliage, whereas the rest of the entire game can't handle anywhere as much foliage and trees. And I don't know if I guess we do see bushes throughout the game. It is just this one circle with a playground in the middle. Obviously, if you're going to remake the game, reboot the game, you would have this looking a lot better. This would be very much like Oasis, and perhaps you don't even have Oasis because this is the same idea. This doghouse is not activatable. This is the Rockwell residence. And we have the newest bomb residence. I do have to admit I'm a little surprised I was able to even continue the game and load into this section. I half suspected it would crash and that we'd have to load into a previous save file. But I guess my pessimism was too high there. Here you can see
Hiya.
Timmy Newsbomb here selling lemonade.
Good day.
That was Bill Foster. We already talked to him, so let's talk to him.
Hi there. I'm Timmy. Wanna play?
Let's see.
Your dad? Nope, I haven't. Did he get lost? It's okay, I guess. I don't really have nobody to play with, except for Betty. And she's kind of, well, she's mean. What? You're weird.
So you can try and talk to them all you want,
See
but
you later.
they're not gonna listen. Again, this is why the drinking glasses exist. This is why glass pitchers exist. This clearly would have been a vertical slice demo part of the game where they would have wanted to show off a pitch and show off what they could do in a small test area and get more funding to make more of the game. This one just says mailbox and has no name on it, and I believe this is back to the abandoned house. So we've been full circle now. So now we go in the middle. And we'll see if we can talk to the dog. Good doggy. That's all we can say to Doc. As far as other people that exist in the game.
Good day.
I feel like what's going to happen here is that we're going to end up killing all these people or leaving them trapped in here forever no matter what we choose. Much like the little lamplighter quest where there was a speech challenge with a 42% chance of success, even though I have speech at 100%. There are clearly and obviously some elements and
Good day.
things that they
Good day.
pretend like you could possibly do, but
Nope. Afraid not.
but you
Don't
really
you
are
worry
not
about it,
likely
though. You'll
to
find
ever
him.
pull off.
Another perfect Saturday afternoon. Make sure you enjoy it, sport. Of course it is. It's America, isn't it? You mean besides how wonderful it is to live here? Everyone's very friendly. Even old lady Dithers, though she's lost most of her marbles.
I'll probably be coughing more today than I should be. I'm a little under the weather, so apologize for that.
Sounds like you've been spending too much time with your nose in those darned comic books, sport.
I almost wonder if there was
Take care now.
like I hate to use a reference to the movie The Purge, but almost that kind of dogmatic religious transition and religious worship of the United States, or old depictions of the United States of the 1940s, 60s, that era, that somewhere between current date 2020 and 2077, the entirety of the world was very much pushed into reenacting and pretending like America was still in the 1940s or 1960s. And it was just a fad to dress old-fashioned, look old-fashioned. Yeah, I feel like people are just popping in and out of doors in buildings.
Hi there.
So here's Betty. And that's the person I'm supposed to talk to. You can see the arrow is pointing that way. And I do feel like there might be one more character wandering around. And I think there is probably 2 or 3 more characters in general inside and outside of houses. If anything, this is really a great experiment in the idea of having scripted movement of characters, because it's such a small area. This would have just been the perfect test bed to program somebody to walk clockwise, counterclockwise, go in and out of their houses, what dogs would do, what other people would do in certain situations.
Oh, someone new to play with. What good luck I have lately. I was just starting to get bored. Oh, we're going to have so much fun.
See. So the question is, do we talk to this person? I guess we just start at the top.
I'm Betty. I live here on Tranquility Lane. Want to play a game?
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. The decisions I want to make here are not likely the decisions you would make. A game, question mark, okay, I guess. Really, I should say no thanks, no games for me. What the hell's going on here?
You don't get to say no.
I guess the response doesn't matter.
I want to play a game. You're going to play. And I want to.
Okay. Let's just keep going with no.
I said I want to play a game. It's easy. You make Timmy Newsbaum cry. And I'll help you. If you don't, then I guess you're stuck here.
So, any more
Want to play my
conversation?
game? So I don't want to talk to you.
So, yeah. Betty is clearly sadistic and torturing these people.
Hello.
And then erasing their
Hi there.
brains. This is a storyline I've seen in Twilight Zones and such similar shows, sci-fi stories in general. It's very recognizable. Plus, I played the game, so I already know that what's going on here. But you can pretty much guess that that was the case as soon as they all couldn't recognize that they were in a simulation, because somebody has to be in charge, or there has to be some program in charge. And then as soon as you meet somebody that is trying just arbitrarily to make somebody else cry, you know they're no good news. Even if you weren't in a simulation, if I just walked to Megaton and somebody had told me, make this kid cry, you would have known immediately that that was a bad person.
Your dad? No, I haven't. I'm sure he's around here somewhere. Roger suggested we move here. I don't quite remember when that was. It's very nice. We're doing quite well. Oh, you're such a kidder. Bye-bye.
Alright, so let's just start going into houses.
Good day. Hello.
Let's talk to Roger.
Good day to you. He disappeared on you, huh? Don't worry, I'm sure you'll find him soon. You won't find a day like this anywhere else. Heck of a place to live.
We
Janet
could just
and I,
exhaust
we're quite happy here.
all the dialogue options.
Sure, sport. Whatever.
I mean, how can they
Take care
possibly
now.
even take you seriously when you're in the body of a child? Here, this shows off that there are actual photos that I've drawn, although they're not very high res, inside of each of the paintings. Yep. And you definitely would have just wanted to see more of this. These are like paintings of Tranquility Lane, drawn very poorly. You would have wanted the game to allow for either getting in more simulations and seeing these textures.
You don't belong here. You're not supposed to be here.
Here we go.
It's not real, none of it. It needs to end. The suffering must end.
So we finally found somebody who's not under control or not playing along. It's very possible that they all do know it's a simulation and they're just playing along because they have to.
We're not really here. We're not really talking. It's all made up. Make believe. We're sleeping, dreaming. The dream became a nightmare. It has to end. It just has to. But we're not in charge. He is. And he doesn't want us to wake up.
So they probably do the right thing here and just tell you straight up.
He calls himself Betty now, but he's still the same. He can put on a new face all he likes, but underneath he's still evil. Braun. Bastard thinks because he helped create this place, he's God here. But I know he still uses the fail-safe terminal. I know it. It's in the abandoned house. He doesn't want us going in there because he's afraid we might find it. It's the only terminal to the outside. The only way to shut the whole thing down. You've got to find it.
So now we have a new quest, although we can't bring up the bats. So in a funny way, the game is just straight up telling you to do things without playing along with showing you new quest elements. We can activate Roger's desk. We can take a metal cooking pot, glass pitcher. Yeah. So, yeah. Might as well just take the cooking pots anyways. It's not like they're weapons that you can equip or anything like that.
Hello.
Did we go upstairs and look? But obviously this doesn't work to see less destroyed things unless there's some kind of enemy, something fighting you, and you have some kind of weapon, because they've just broken the main gameplay mechanic here, and so you'd have to tell a pretty interesting story, and this game has been pretty bad about trying to tell just linear stories. I'm not sure this wardrobe is used in any other place. It kind of looks like the wardrobes, but not really. Like, it probably would have helped a little bit to have started the game in a simulation like this, in a dream like this.
How are you today? I was thinking of having a cookout soon since the weather's been so wonderful. Later.
See, this is another example of like people dynamically talking to each other, which could have been a great system, certainly, for getting information and overhearing locations and places and such, but
Good day.
it doesn't really work in this case.
Good day.
Let's talk to her.
Hi there. Timmy? Oh, he's a good boy. George and I are so proud of him.
You can see how
I don't care what
how
people
drawn
says.
out their
I
faces.
don't think military school would do him any good at all. I have half a mind to give her that brochure back and tell her just what she can do with it. No, sweetie, I haven't. I'm sure he'll come looking for you before long, though. It sure is, but it always is.
Just
here.
exhaust all the dialogue. Like, even in this vertical slice,
Well,
you kind
George
of
and I have been here.
can tell that
Why, as long as I
there's
can
too much
remember.
dialogue that you have to actually prompt to have come up.
What?
And
Oh, sweetie, maybe you should just run along and play.
really, there's a middle ground here that I don't think any game has ever figured out how to do, where these
Have a great
characters could say to, like, this character could say to the other character, "It's such a nice day," and then that would just answer the response, say the same response that you would get if you were prompted, and it would also automatically mark that question off. Interesting. It's just a floating drinking glass. Yeah, in a lot of ways, this is also just highlighting how barren this world is, because it's missing so much elements. There's like no guns here. It's not even what 2077 would have looked like. It's a barren version even compared to that. Yep. We have a military brochure. Military school brochure. This brochure promotes the Hoffman Training Academy with the tagline, "Turning delinquents of today into leaders of tomorrow." And that's kind of a custom item
Hello.
that there isn't really an equivalent to. Let's talk to the dad. I don't think we've
Well,
talked
hi
to
there.
him so far. Oh, we have talked about him.
My boy Timmy? Good kid. Straight-laced, good head on his shoulders. Never been in so much as a fist fight. We're a close-knit family. Don't know what any of us would do if something happened.
So it almost seems like I could
Have a
just go
great
punch
day.
him if I wanted to. So it's the abandoned house. Let's not go to the abandoned house quite yet. Let's instead check out the Dither's residence. But yeah, I've never seen it done well, the dialogue.
Not real.
And Fallout 3 really does it pretty poorly. Skyrim doesn't really improve upon it much. As much as Skyrim improves on a lot of things, there's definitely better writing in Skyrim, but you still are very much prompted to put in a dialogue prompt before anybody says anything of importance. And if anything, I feel like in Skyrim there's less actual random chit chat happening when two people walk next to each other, because that's not really like a valuable ad.
The Henderson estate is in tip-top shape, young miss. Have a wonderful day.
You can turn on the radio and not hear anything, not even hear music or anything. Yeah, there's just a lot of different things you can interact with, and you just don't interact with things by activating them anywhere else in the game. So it's fairly obvious that this is a case where this section of code in gameplay was programmed fairly early and then left in the story. I'm not sure we ever see this chandelier anywhere else either. Alright, and we're auto-saving every time we walk in and out of a house. Alright, well, let's just see if we can open the abandoned house. Did I just open the abandoned house, or did I go in the Dither's
It's in there.
house?
Has to be.
Okay. I believe this is the abandoned house. I wouldn't be surprised if the door just doesn't work. Alright. So. You have a broken radio, cinder block. You have guard gnomes. You have empty bottles. Just a lot of things you can interact with. A lot of trash. Although the trash here is not really broken stuff so much. So, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if the game forces me to make Timmy cry, forces me to see more, because there is definitely more to this that the game kind of needs to show off, and I shouldn't be able to outthink and outmaneuver the game. Interesting, 2 doors going into the same room. Wow, and kind of a creaky sound effect. And then you hear... Okay. Okay, so it's... Play the notes. So this is just a matter of brute forcing it, I guess. Not too hard. If it is just these 5 things. But if it's going back to something else. It's not the cinder block. It's got to be... It's got to be either this or the radio again. Right? And that makes it exponentially more difficult now. Okay. And I suspect this might be it. Nope. This. 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 There we go. Failsafe terminal initiated. Activate the terminal. Okay. So we could access the Chinese invasion program, which this is what happens later in the story. I guess I'll spoil a little bit, and because we may just straight up skip this in the favor of saving people and moving the story forward, that Betty, who is actually the overwatcher of the vault, starts the Chinese invasion program and watches and laughs as everybody gets killed by fake Chinese people, and then I think they probably get respawned and then killed again, so there's no even sweet release of death or anything like that. And it does feel like since I had already snuck into the overlord, whatever, overseer is what they're called, yeah. Since I'd already snuck into the overseer's office, I feel like I could have just, before even coming into Tranquility Lane, maybe killed the guy or pulled him out of the pod and made him talk. We do want Dr. Braun's information here, so we want to make him talk one way or the other, but getting the upper hand instead of just playing his sadistic game is probably the better thing. If I'm Sorry. I've finally come to the realization that the two-count lounge simulation has run its course. I'm tired of beating sun and ceaseless pounding of the lagoon's waves upon the shore. No longer take pleasure in watching Simpson wither away from scurvy or hearing Nesbaum's screams as he's devoured by the mako shark. I'm quite simply bored. It is time to reset the simulation once again. I haven't been skiing in ages. Yesterday, Dizzers slipped on the chalet's ice stairs, went airborne, and managed to impale himself on the wrought iron fence. It was spectacular and completely and utterly random. Is there anything more sublime than the bold crimson of freshly fallen snow? It was almost enough to make me reconsider a change of scenery, but not quite. 23 years is long enough vacation in the Swiss Alps. I long for something more domestic. So this is the third time that they've created a simulation. I have surprised myself. I find Tranquility Lane comforting, although distinctly American. It somehow reminds me of the Kronocht, the town of my childhood. Kronocht, I assume that's Russian town. There's a beautiful irony with this particular simulation as well. The residents here are naturally at home, naturally safe. When I toy with them, when their super suburban illusion is suddenly broken, it is much more satisfying. I do believe we shall remain here in Tranquility Lane for a very long time. A very long time indeed. So, yeah. They're clearly... Dr. Braun sounds like he's either Russian or German. He's probably German. So, something about this, the way the story went in 2077, was that there is no kind of hate for Germans in this version of America, as much as there was kind of hate for Canadians and Chinese. And not so much is ever said really about Russians either. So, let's see. Welcome, Dr. Braun. Let's display the current version control. Let's see. Exceptions granted for Pod 1. Manual override for pods disabled. Remote access allowed. User S. Braun has privileges. Update neural inputs to override memory access for individual users. Revised code for vault maintenance robot authentication from S. Braun required before further updates allowed. Unknown user unknown granted access. User unknown altered by S. Braun. I assume that is me. Is the user unknown. New program Tranquility Lane loaded authorized S. Braun. All previous versions wipes authorization S. Braun. So notice that they are not going to let you they're not going to let you just load in the Toucan Lounge or the Sloan Chalet. Let's see. Initiate the Chinese invasion failsafe. Failsafe program documentation. Dr. Braun entry failsafe. Let's start with the entry. There are days I consider finally pulling the plug, as it were, putting a permanent end to both the simulation and my life. This is the reason I requested an installation of General Chase's Chinese invasion program. After all, by disabling the safety protocols, I have ensured that each subject of Vault 112 will physically die if the in-simulation avatars are killed. Real-world death in the simulation, the perfect failsafe. At least it would have been, if it not for my own misjudgment. I knew when the simulation first went online that the secondary safeties that was established for all Veltec and military personnel would prevent my own real-world demise in the event of a failsafe execution. In the end, I would kill the subjects and save myself. I wouldn't want it any other way, or so I thought. It's true the failsafe would scare the living hell out of every resident in the Tranquility Lane and lead to their brutal deaths, but then what about me? I'd have no ability to disable my own safety from within the simulation, and all other avatars I could create would be driven by the simulation's AI routines, not actual living thinking human subjects. Where's the fun in tormenting a machine? And so the release of the real world subjects is more than they deserve, more than I can bear. They'd be dead and I'd be left here in tranquility, laying alone and tragically bored for all eternity. I can think of nothing more unacceptable. Let's read the documentation. Here's my revised code for the training program you've expressed interest in. I'm not sure exactly what you want with it, and I again stress that this program was never designed to be run with civilian equipment. Frankly, I don't expect any system you have to access it to even run it. But if you can run this program with the failsafes off as requested, your real-world test subjects will die if killed in the simulation. It goes without saying officially, I denied your request. General Constantine Chase, which might be an interesting character if you were ever going to do a flashback story to talk about him and mention him, but he won't be a big character. The software's purpose is to simulate a communist incursion on U.S. soil. New protocols enacted. Disable safety protocols 1 through 6. Override target acquisition. Warning: test subjects will be experience real-world termination. Proceed with extreme caution. So I can initiate the failsafe myself if I wanted to now and kill everybody. Is that what I want to do? No. Obviously not. So it is now a matter of convincing people to convincing Dr. Braun to abandon his insanity. You're getting a lot of pop in here. And that's not because this is a simulation. It's because this game's engine just cannot handle this much foliage. So our hope here is we can just talk Betty out of it. That's my real hope through threats or violence. Let's go ahead and make his safety safe.
To me yet. You don't want to play my game, so I don't want to talk to you.
Alright, well, we have to make Timmy cry first. Let's see if we can find Timmy.
Well, hi there.
Here we have someone we haven't actually talked to before. Let's just exhaust
That
this.
boy is trouble, if you ask me. That baby
That's not what it
like you
says.
wouldn't believe.
The subtitle's wrong.
Acts like he's still an infant. He's never out of his parents' sight. Can you imagine what it'll be like the first time he's separated from them? I don't think so, but then I haven't really been looking for him. Sorry.
So you can see Martha Simpson here is not particularly
I
nice either.
suppose. I hadn't really noticed. I like it well enough, I suppose. Mabel is good company most of the time, and, well, the other neighbors are mostly very nice. Sorry.
There's
Have a
kind of
great
nothing
day.
here you can do, though. And yeah, you can kind of see how the game, even in this vertical slice, what does that look like when I actually activate this? You just scoop water from the air.
Hello. Hiya, kiddo. The Nussbaum boy, huh? Quiet kid. Just between you and me, kiddo. He looks... Take care now.
Yeah. You can see how the game just kind of falls apart here. There really isn't anything that you can do or as far as talking to the people to move the story forward. What a more modern RPG game would almost certainly do is have 4 or 5 quest lines that you could work on or make some progress on while talking to people and trying to figure out about Timmy.
Good day. Good day
But
to you.
instead you're
Have a great day.
left with
Hiya, kiddo.
with having to kind of wander around.
Take care now.
So I assume he's somewhere in this house.
Hi, wanna play?
Let's see. Let's see. Do we want to do a speech check and maybe get some XP when we get out of the simulation? Or do we want to just say this? Yeah, it's just a speech check.
What? Did I do something bad?
I actually did get experience. Yeah, so I wonder if I am not actually going to get 300 experience, or I did already get 300 experience and just didn't level up when I finished the first main storyline quest and started Tranquility Lane. Let's see. Let's go kind of harsh here, I guess.
No, not my mommy and daddy, no.
You can see how the animation there, lost some karma on that one.
Hello.
I'm not sure there was any way you could have avoided losing karma on that one. Notice how she's standing directly in that box. And her walking patterns, kind of rough, but she was able to make it through the gate. I thought there might be a chance she might just clip right through the fence. But if this is a vertical slice of the game, trying to show off every element that they wanted to put in a bigger game, a karma system in that sense would have been highlighted fairly well. Let's try and talk to her now more.
Decided you want to play after all, huh?
I had a feeling you'd come around. Your approach was somewhat uninspired, but it'll do.
So,
Since you won the game, you get a prize. You may ask one question, which I will answer as honestly as possible.
let's see. Where's my father? Just who are you? We know who he is. What is this place? We kind of know what that is. How do you get out of here? The answer is not going to be said. So let's go with the first one.
Your father? Oh my, what a splendid turn of events. I had no idea the two of you were related. Yes, I have indeed seen him. I'm afraid he's rather unavailable at the moment.
So your father is probably the dog, if that would be my guess. Let's see. Let's just go with the third option and skip the extra dialogue. What have you done to him? Probably turned him into a dog. I want to see him now. No response from that.
Now that is just the sort of question you should be asking.
You understand that I am in control then? Excellent. You are far more promising than your father. Pay a visit to the Rockwells. They're very happily married, and I'd like you to change that. Put an end to their marriage, and we'll talk.
Let's say no, I won't do that to him.
Then I'm afraid we have nothing more to say to one another. Are we willing to be...
What if I just kept saying no, I won't do it?
Well then, we have little else... Are we willing to be...
Nope.
There is always a choice. Sometimes it's just easier to make. Rationalize it any way you'd like. If you succeed, we'll continue our discussion.
Alright. But you can't pull up the quest, so giving you quest kind of doesn't even matter.
Good day.
The thing here is nobody knows that they're in such a bad situation, so it would be very much a case of me taking the choice out of people if I decide just to kill them now. I don't think it was the Ditters that were supposed to break up. Was it the Hendersons? Or is it the Simpsons? It's only 4 places, but even at that,
Hello there.
it's fairly easy.
Sure is a beautiful day today.
Mabel Henderson
Later.
and Martha Simpson.
Hello. Good day to you.
Rockwells. Interesting.
Well, they're just so nice, aren't they? It's good the two of them worked everything out. Oh, well, I'm not one to talk, but there was that fight last year. Everyone could hear them arguing.
This is another great example of the
going on with Roger and Martha Simpson. He eventually convinced her it wasn't true. But I've seen the way Martha looks at him. Janet may believe him, but
the
I
lighting
shouldn't.
on the faces is still pretty bad.
Tip? Oh, I wouldn't call it that. Just something I heard is all. No.
We can just pretend like we exhaust all the dialogue, but
Computer.
it
Have a great
doesn't
day.
even seem to really stick.
Hello, sweetie. How are you? Why are you asking me? I don't know anything. And why should I care about their marriage anyway?
Let's see. Speech check, might as well do it.
There's no story. Never was. Roger and I, nothing ever happened. I wanted... Oh, I don't know. I thought there was something between us. No, that's not true. I know there was. But Roger pushed me away, tried to deny it. Even Janet knew it was there. She fought with him over it. I think she still suspects something. I try to stay away from Roger, just to avoid giving her a reason to hate me more.
I wouldn't be surprised if actually originally Martha Simpson
now.
was married to Roger and the doctor simply rearranged their memories and have them living with different people that they may very well have cared nothing for in the real life. Of course, the problem now is what do you activate, if anything, in this house that would help that story go further. There you go, lacy underwear. That's what we needed as an item. Which now we know why lacy underwear exists in the game.
Good day.
Let's see. So do we want to talk to Janet or do we want to talk to... Let's talk
Good
with
day.
Roger first.
Hey there, little lady. How's it going? Now that's not fun. Now see here. That's not anything for you to be asking about. Our marriage is our business and it's private.
Getting very standard
Why can't
responses
people
that
just
you
understand that and
don't
just
really
leave
get.
us alone?
You don't really get that in video games very often. Him just
Take care now.
A, treating you like a kid because you are a kid, and B, not giving you useful information, even though you're directly asking for it. Yeah, we can read the diary now. I just don't know what to do anymore when Roger's not in that stupid basement. He's outside, sweet talking at Huzzy Martha Simpson. He claims there's nothing between him, but I know it's all a lie. I found a woman's pendant once with Roger's on Roger's workbench, but of course I said nothing. That's me, Janet Rockwell, prim and proper housewife, living a perfect life here in Tranquility Lane. Some days I wish I really had beat her to death with that rolling pin. Then Roger would know I'm the only girl in the world. Seems like we could sleep for an hour. Let's just sleep for an hour and see what that does. Does that give us a well-rested bonus? Probably not, because we're sleeping in someone else's bed, but... yeah, there's very little to pick up.
Good day. Good day to you.
Let's see.
What? Now that's a ridiculous thing to say. You kids need to find some different games to play.
Speech checks, I imagine.
Our marriage? Oh, goodness.
Would give me more experience, so I should try them first. And then the standard answers of putting things. Notice that our hand is clipping through the table, and that we really don't ever see a situation where somebody is sitting at a table anywhere else in the game.
What a horrible thing to say. Is that your idea of a joke?
So we failed that speech check.
Take care now.
Which, fine, whatever. I just don't feel like it's worth the effort to some scum save. Rolling pin is now equipped as a weapon. Interesting. So now we can beat somebody with a rolling pin if necessary. Meanwhile, we'll just place underwear in the desk. And I assume we probably talk to the wife again.
Hello.
Well, hi there.
Let's see.
What were you doing in our basement? What's down there? Okay, if you say so.
Alright, so then we have to walk back. And that really shouldn't be the case. Frankly, having to load into this area.
What's this? Women's clothing?
Interesting that it's on top. That really does... like, that would be a better system in general. Is if things were just placed on top and never inside things.
What the hell is this?
Looks like Roger is a fan of women's clothing, so it's not yours. Oops.
But this isn't mine. What is this doing here?
We'll go with the cross-dressing angle because I think that's funnier.
Oh my God, Roger. He wouldn't. But
we've at least in this case involved one fewer person. So you would expect, instead of her just running away, for them to have an argument and a conversation and get rid of the load. Like her AI has apparently just been programmed to run upstairs. And she seemingly has just disappeared. Yeah, I don't know where she went. Because she's not in the bathroom. She's not in the bedroom. So unless I just missed her going out the store, which I guess is a possibility, we're going to have to keep playing this game. And clearly they want you to play this game, which they might as well at this point have not even told you about the karma system or made it feel like it was a big deal. It certainly would have started the game off better if you made small decisions that affected your karma versus blowing up Megaton and having that opportunity to play as a bad guy for the rest of the entire
Poor Janet and
playthrough, and then starting off neutral if you don't blow up Megaton, or even maybe good if you save Megaton and disarm the bomb.
You have turned out to be quite resourceful, it seems. I am slightly impressed. I enjoy your company far more than your father's. He responded quite negatively to my requests. You have amused me thus far, but I still don't think you're quite in a position to be demanding anything. Still, I suppose you've earned the right to some further answers. What would you ask of me?
Let's see. So I guess we want the real responses as far as what did my father want from you more than where the father is, because I mean, he's in the simulation somewhere. What is this place is redundant.
Your father, frustrating as he was, recognized the significance of some of my previous work. He came to gather information on it. He was most pleased to be able to ask me directly, but he failed to understand how things work here. He was unwilling to compromise, to do anything I asked of him, and so our discussions ended.
You kind of also run into a point here where you have to just kind of assume he's crazy. You don't dress yourself up as a little girl for no reason, usually. Maybe you haven't seen him at all. Challenging him might be a good choice.
Oh dear, now you don't even believe me. How disappointing.
I assure you, James and I talked at length before you arrived.
I don't think we told
Now
him
let's
the
continue
name.
before I grow bored with you.
Let's see. I'm not agreeing to anything more until you tell me what it is.
Attempting to maintain the illusion of control, are we? How quaint.
See, what we're not getting here is a dialogue.
I'd like you to kill Mabel Henderson. Do something unique, something unexpected. Surprise me.
So now they're pushing it even further. Now, here's the question.
Still, you resist me when you know that I have the answers you seek. Well, I am not going to beg you. You know what I ask of you, and so you know what you must do to retain my favor.
Let's see.
Have you met Doc the dog? He's another new arrival, much like yourself. He might seem a bit familiar to you, huh? If you insist on an answer, then you may better know me.
Just in
as
case
Dr. Stanislaus
you didn't figure
Brown.
out that his name was
I've
Braun.
chosen a different appearance for myself here, in my own little playground.
You know that I am Dr. Braun. Anything else is irrelevant. Perhaps you should be focusing your energy on what I've asked of you.
Run along now.
Yeah. What we don't have here, though, is a way to escape. So there's your dad. I wonder if the whistling was the code to the terminal. If that is the case, then I almost suspect the whistling is the same whistling, that is used throughout the rest of the game, and isn't really a hint to anything.
Good day.
Yeah. What's interesting to this would be, we know people have died in the simulations before, but I don't think they die permanently until you start the Chinese simulation. I think they just get reset. That would be my guess. Otherwise, there would have been more empty pods in the game. in the real world. Yeah. Going back and trying to use the terminal again, I don't think it's going to help anything.
Nothing like the smell
Let's
of
see.
apple pie, is there?
Was this the one we were supposed to kill? I don't think so.
Well, I know I wouldn't want to live anywhere else.
Yep. We're looking for the one with the chandelier and the skate. We may want to check for a speech check. Anyways.
Oh, Mabel, did you want to look for a new robot? I know you're not comfortable with yours. No, I don't like robots. Don't like the one I have and don't want a new one. If I didn't rely on the thing so much, I'd just get rid of it. Really, Mabel, it's fine. There's no reason to feel uncomfortable. It's just another machine. Well, maybe you feel that way. I really don't like it. What if something goes wrong? Oh, Mabel, you worry too much. It's fine.
Mabel Henderson.
Hello, sweetie. How are you? Take care now. Hello.
So it's probably a case that we could program the robot to kill. This is the Simpson residence. So we're looking for the Henderson residence. Here we are. So you have 3 choices here. Robot,
How may I serve you, mistress?
chandelier, or skate. I don't know if there's any other options. There's 2 beds, so it feels like there may have been a Mr. Henderson, but I don't think we've seen a Mr. Henderson. So I wonder if this is, maybe by killing these people they are permanently dying.
How may I serve you, mistress?
Activate radio. And that maybe they're the 2 empty spots or it. Alright, well, can't use that now. Can turn on the radio, turn off the radio. We can talk to Mr. Henderson.
Henderson Estate is in tip-top shape, young miss. Have a wonderful day.
It does seem like there's more to this you'd have to do.
Why would Roger do such a thing? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, we're in the Henderson house. But we may just have to go old school on her. Yep. Yeah, having to walk into other people's houses to potentially...
You can find it. You don't remember what I told you. The failsafe.
Oh wait, I forgot about her. Let's see.
The abandoned house. Keeps that one to himself, he does. That's where it is. That's why he doesn't want us in there.
Yeah, but we found the failsafe.
Did you look? Did you really
It's just
look?
exhaust.
You think he really looks like that little girl? Remember what I told you? It's there, I tell you. He hides it. Like, remember what I told you?
Yeah, I found the failsafe.
I'm telling.
Yay. I didn't activate the failsafe. But pretty much seemed like you could activate the failsafe and get in and out of Tranquility Lane fairly quickly. if you wanted to. I don't think these pictures are telling me anything as far as a order of operations in activating other things and escaping any other way other than through the failsafes. But I don't understand how having everybody be killed is going to be the only way and the good way to escape Tranquility Lane. If anything, it feels like the game should tell me, should have given me a different answer that would have made a little bit more sense. So dithers. Yeah, and we do know that there is a dithers here. So unless there was a different thing we could do here. Yeah. I just don't think that there's anything here otherwise to interact with. Sure doesn't seem like there is. And I have suspected even in here, if there was like a book or a bobblehead, which I suspect there isn't, and I feel like it would be fairly easy to pull that off and come back into this area.
Hello, sweetie. How are you? Bye-bye.
Alright, let's just follow the arrows. I guess that's what we'll have to do. We'll just follow the arrow and see where it leads us. Is it leading us back to Betty? Yep, everything points to Betty.
Janet and Roger.
I have told you what I want.
Are you through?
I guess we hadn't started this.
Excellent. I look forward to seeing what you come up with. Remember, creativity is key. Mabel Henderson needs to die, but in a creative, fun sort of way. I'm sure you'll think of something.
Run along now.
So, Mabel Henderson. So this would be the Henderson residence.
How may I serve you, mistress?
Fun, creative way. Let's see. So we could kill her that way. We could fiddle with the pilot light. We can drop the chandelier on her or have her fall down the stairs. I kind of want to drop the chandelier down here, but I think what we do here, and we can't fall down the stairs, is we'd want to see just an animation. Okay.
Good afternoon.
Also, we'll just do everything. And we'll disable security screening and initiate security program. And we can't initiate the cleaning program. Wouldn't be surprised if the game makes me do it multiple times. actually.
The Henderson estate is in tip-top shape, young miss. Have a wonderful day.
Yeah, I really wouldn't be surprised if I kill her and then it just rewinds time and makes me kill her again, and then kill her a different way, and kill her a different way. And I guess now we wait. Or do we wait? Do we have to leave the house? Is there something more to this? I mean, we've just like booby-trapped this whole place. Let's go see if we can find Henderson. Oh, we locked down the house, so she's locked in here. She's locked out. Interesting. So now we can, I guess, wait. We'll see. See what happens here. She walked that way, and she gets it dropped on her.
How may I serve you? You, mistress? The Henderson estate is in tip-top shape, young miss.
Yeah, it seems like the cleaning program here did not actually do anything, though. I don't feel like the security screening did anything either. So it almost seems like you could start the Chinese failsafe and then lock yourself in the house, but you probably would never get a dialogue option in which you could lock everybody in the house and protect them. And at what point does that even really matter? Would the simulation, the Chinese invasion simulation, possibly end, and then everybody could escape because the program ends, whereas Tranquility Lane just goes on forever? I doubt it, though.
Well done. Well done. You certainly do get results. You have exceeded my expectations.
I would have
And
thought
now
that he would have.
comes to the last task I have for you. Succeed, and you shall be granted whatever you wish.
Yeah, it definitely feels like you should have been told to kill her multiple times. Well, and we don't get a number for our karma, so even when we're done with all of this, it feels like our karma still may be at the 1,000 plus on the 1,000 plus 1,000 minus scale that it I think secretly has.
I think you'll find that I've been quite honest with you thus far. You have no discernible reason to mistrust me. In the doghouse, out behind the abandoned home, are a mask and knife. Don the mask and become the pint-sized slasher. Use the knife to eliminate all the residents of Tranquility Lane. He is a figure of myth, born of old campfire stories. You will make him a reality. The residents will know you and they will fear you. When they have all been eliminated, return to me.
So clearly, the clearly this isn't just going to kill everybody, because that's what he's afraid of, is if everybody died permanently.
Are you mad? I've been here for almost 200 years. My body is in no condition to be used for anything. And yet here in Tranquility Lane, I am as strong and youthful as I care to be.
It's an interesting argument.
No, I think I'll stay here, thank you. And you will now do as you're told. The slasher awaits.
Alright, well, let's make a safety save. Pull out our weapon. and see what this looks like.
You can't do that here. And now you have to pay.
It was worth a try. Notice that no load or anything there. So they had even planned for that eventuality. Yeah. This is like the Halloween Michael Myers story. And so now we know why we can activate this doghouse. So we have a weird old-fashioned clown head that we can't really see. And we have a knife. And really this is where cutscene would have really played well too. Here's the problem though. These people are being tormented, but you kind of still want them to see them succeed and survive. You don't want to just kill them. Now they're just all running for their lives. Downstairs we go, I guess. We can't talk to him, obviously. Yeah, but you can definitely tell how...
Watch where you swing that, will you? Hiya, kiddo. What's the good word?
Interesting.
Take care now.
Yeah, you can definitely tell how this would have made more sense at the very beginning of the game as a simulation where you could just then remove all the karma, negative karma you would have for these bad actions and just let the player play on the wild side. This, I suppose, if you were playing the main story somewhere halfway through doing all the other quests instead of putting the main story off till the very end. Notice how bloody and how all the limbs are just flying off. They clearly chose not to have that happen every time. Although, in fairness, I haven't actually attacked people with a butcher knife. I don't even know if you can get a butcher knife as a weapon anywhere else. This might just be another example of a 3D model that is really only used in one place only. Wonder if the old lady would run in fear if she'll just let you kill her. Problem, of course, is you're running here, and why is there an alternate fire on this with the left trigger?
The pint-sized slasher! Someone help me!
Slice that way. Slice that way.
Pint-sized slasher! Someone help me!
There's no run button on the controllers, as far as I know.
I guess it was nothing.
No! Please leave me alone!
So who was the girl that just said, I guess it was nothing? I don't think that was me saying that. So I'm trying to find a button that would maybe let me run. Feel like the game just kind of glitched there and played the wrong audio.
The pint-sized slasher! Someone help me!
Hey, 2 XP for blowing up Mr. Handy. At least.
No!
Yeah, you run into a scenario where you're almost certainly not going to be able to have played this until at least halfway through the game. So if this was supposed to be the midpoint break where most players would have played as a good guy, now you're forced to play as a bad guy. That's alright. It's not great. Certainly doesn't really encourage people to, at this point, go back and start the game all over and blow up Megaton and just be a bad guy from the beginning, which is really what you would have needed. You're not losing points or karma for disembodying or dissecting the body more. So yep, gotta kill her too. She didn't have anything to say. Desecrating the corpse. That's the phrase I was trying to say. Yeah. Which, if you are going to have a karma system and you are going to have at least a perk that lets you cut off fingers and ears and sell it to bounty hunters, and you're going to have a perk around drinking blood and cannibalism, you would have expected that there might have been a little bit more to the idea of chopping up limbs instead of it just being your standard video game thing where they wanted more gore in the first person shooting style of gameplay and more like procedural disembodiment, which definitely was a big thing for a long time in games when this came out. Now it's pretty normal for a game to have some level of that, but it is plateaued as far as what you can really do with that technology to impress people, because it doesn't really make much of a difference to me if I can chop off a finger versus chopping off a hand versus chopping off an arm. Particularly since you know that these are always in specific chunks. So I can't just like slice here and slice another layer off or anything like that. It's all very scripted. And that's how it's always been with like every game, is that if the leg does come off, which it doesn't seem like once the initial explosion has happened it can, it comes off at the exact place, same place. Even Dead Space, which had an entire gameplay mechanic around that idea, didn't really improve on that concept too much. And with a potential remake of Dead Space now being announced, I seriously doubt they will have any sales advertisements highlighting that you can dismember the monsters a little bit better or into smaller pieces. When things usually are broken down into smaller pieces, that really doesn't help. There we go. Doc is unconscious. Apparently he wasn't considered a resident.
Well done, well done.
Still can't get that first person picture.
Most enjoyable. Most enjoyable indeed. I haven't felt this exhilarated in years.
Let's see. And she takes the mask and the knife.
Yes, yes. I suppose you've earned the right to do as you like.
I shall miss your company. This has been a simply wonderful time.
The door is now open. Through it you may return to the real world and whatever inferior existence you have there.
Interesting that he will just let you out. Okay, and it is just straight up a door. Interesting. They took the military school brochure away from me. And here we have a cutscene of what we look like without the mask.
I was afraid I'd be trapped in there forever.
It's so good to see you, but what are you doing here?
What are you doing here? You could have been killed. I wanted answers from you. I came to find you. Let's go with this one. This first one.
Well, I'm glad you did. This certainly wasn't how I expected things
Walking
to turn
around
out.
with a vault
I
suit
wasn't ready
on
for
is
brawl,
almost
but I'd
certainly
fared
just
better.
putting a red flag around you.
It certainly is. It's nice to feel that I'm on two legs again. And thanks to Dr. Braun, I know that Project Purity isn't lost after all.
What did you learn?
I was right about Braun. The technology he developed is unstable, even dangerous. But it can be adapted for Project Purity. I need to return to Rivet City and talk with Madison. If we can find a GEC, we can make Project Purity work. Yes, with what I've learned, Madison is sure to see that we can finally succeed where we failed so many years ago. I'd like you to come with me. I'd like you to be there when we finally open the floodgates.
I'll meet you up.
Really? You're not going to join me? Coming all this way after me, I'd have thought you'd want to help. I have to keep going. I can't stop now. I'm going back to Rivet City. Meet me there if you change your mind.
I want to fast travel to Rivet
It'd be
City.
good to work with you, honey.
Let's see. And I got 600 XP at that point instead of 300 because I didn't get 300 before.
Of course, honey. What's on your mind?
And this starts the Waters of Life quest. Going to go back to the vault, back to the way things were. How could you have left me like that? What the hell were you thinking? That's a good question.
I wanted you to be safe. I didn't want this for you. A life out here in this godforsaken war zone. I couldn't tell you what I was doing because I didn't want you following me. A plan which clearly was not as successful as I imagined it would.
He suspected, I guess assumed the overseer wouldn't kill me or punish me after the father escaped.
What? No, of course not. This is important work. Clean water can change the
This is the
lives of
point where
so
they
many
tell you
thousands of
what
people.
Project Purity
It's
actually
worth the risk
does.
to help them. I can understand that you're angry. You have a right to be. Perhaps the choice I made wasn't the right one. At the time, I thought I was doing what was best.
And see,
for you.
it's just a throwaway sentence here of clean water, and not really explaining that Project Purity is supposed to purify all the water in the rivers around there.
So am I, my love. Well, this isn't what I had in mind. It's good to have you with me.
Let's see. And like, once again, we should just ask all the questions.
It started as an idea, really.
I suspect
Remember
if
the
you
Bible
fast travel to
passage
Rivet
about
City,
love
that
so
probably
much?
does start the second
Free, clean
act
water
of this
for everyone.
game, second half of
What a
this game, when
difference
the
it could
Brotherhood
make
of
in the
Steel
lives of everyone here
starts
in
to
the
show
Oasis.
up.
Over time,
Which
the idea took the form of a purifier.
there is an argument
Not
that
like
you
the one
should
in the vault, though.
activate
one
the game
was
main
gigantic,
story to this point.
Capable of purifying millions of gallons of water at once. We used the old Jefferson Memorial for the location, right on DC's tidal basin. Someday soon, I hope you'll see it work. In the year before you were born, things became difficult. There had always been something of a mutant problem in the city, but it became worse. They attacked more frequently and more aggressively.
Now, is someone
Support for
controlling the
project
mutants?
eroded as time went on, when we couldn't produce any significant results. Progress came to a halt. And then you were born. Your mother and I had talked about what to do when that time came, but then we lost her, and I had to make a decision. I chose to leave. From what I understand, things happened quickly after that. It became too dangerous for the others to stay, and so the project was abandoned. Dr. Lee and her team left for what became Rivet City, and Project Purity has sat waiting ever since.
Yeah, the general idea, I think, is that is that I think the super mutants know about Project Purity and are trying to stop it, or someone controlling the super mutants. It would make a lot of sense if that was the case.
I understand that you have reason to question a good many things I've told you over the years. But your mother... I've never lied to you about what happened. Not once. She died giving birth to you. It was a difficult
In
time.
fairness, if you don't have
She
clean
was
water,
so eager to
that will
next place
definitely
in the world. If
increase the
nothing else,
odds of
please believe that
either
she
a
loved
mother or
you
baby
very much.
dying in childbirth or soon after. Yeah. Maybe that analogy should have been shown and mentioned a lot more. If you found lots of doctor clinics specifically with women giving birth and dying because they don't have clean water, just people in general dying because they don't have clean water, instead of just the 3 water beggars outside of 3 cities, you could have hit that narrative a lot harder. If the raiders specifically were stealing water from people and hoarding it, if slavers were using slaves to dig wells and mine water, and if there was maybe some deep wells that were a little less irradiated, that might be something to think about. That
The vault
this game
was
doesn't really
loaded
touch
with its
upon.
own water purification system. Clean water was never a worry. Out here, things are different. Water out here is never clean and almost always irradiated. It's barely able to sustain any kind of normal life. If we can change
Interesting they make a difference between
humanity has a
irradiated
real
and
chance of
clean.
rebuilding.
There is a difference,
Starting
obviously,
over.
but for the game's purposes, you probably should have just said is always irradiated.
Be careful, sweetie.
All right. Speech is at 100. Energy weapons. We do now have an energy weapon that would, I think, benefit quite greatly if we could bring it up to 90. And we're going to, like, level up 2 times here anyways, I think. Repair up to 100. I think at this point we might as well do that. Explosives up to 100. I mean, the only other thing we could start doing is putting points into melee weapons or big guns or sneak or unarmed. Alright. And do we have a new thing? No. So I think we take the Explorer perk. Rehacking computers, not really that useful because we haven't broken a bunch of computers. There clearly would be a situation where some people would have messed the game up really badly and half of all of the computers in the world were locked because of failed hacking attempts. Take Explorer. And I guess that means we just didn't get high enough. No, we're still 2,000 away from getting to level 22, which would have been the max level in the game. Let's see what the world map looks like now. We have a Uguay tunnels. We have we been to the Tronal house? I assume everything we haven't visited will be marked like that. So, Dunwich Building, F. Scott Trail and Compound, Rockland Car Tunnel, Everglow National Campground, Vault 87, Abandoned Car Fort, Deathclaw Sanctuary, Raven Rock, is that a whole city? Train Tunnel, Radio Tower, Mason-Dixon Salvage, Drowned Devil's Crossing, Montgomery County Reservoir, broadcast tower, clifftop shackles, vaults 92 in the middle of Old Olney. Well, obviously that's a main story thing. Power station, a dairy farm, a relay tower, vault 108, a factory, an armory. There's still kind of nothing here in this big chunk. Bethesda's Ruins, Bethesda being the company that makes the game. A cavern, Friendship Heights, the White House. Apparently we can actually make our way to the White House, and several other metro stations. So we should just try and find all these places and find our way around. Now here's the problem. Riverboat Landing's still DLC, so that's not something. Here we have a Citadel, which is apparently a place we can access already, and I didn't realize that. Maybe it's harder to get to these locations than it seems. But yeah. What you have here is a lot of things that I think very quickly we will look at, and a lot of things that are kind of more story related, and so we may be able to pick up, I suspect, less than three at most main quests, and the rest of this is all just going to be finding fast travel locations if we're going to do anything. There is definitely still squares here of just total emptiness. I would assume you still need to kind of visit them before you could turn in those credits. So this one was unoccupied. Here's Dithers. What's his status? His status is he's still alive from the looks of it. And not slumped over and dead from the looks of it. See, this was the one that your father was in, subject unknown. This is Henderson. And the status rate levels and everything seem to indicate that they're all alive still. Simpson, unoccupied. So if me killing everybody really did kill everybody, then I would have assumed that the Robo Brains would have taken the bodies out, and they would have tried to just hope that more lone wanderers or random people would have snuck in and like entered the simulation not knowing what it is. We are done with the quest, so now it is simply just going to be a matter of personal preference here. Let's see. So now we're back to our old outfit. You don't need to wear the uniform. It would have been pretty easy to forget about the fact that you were wearing that outfit. Look at the local map. And just not realize that there was something more to it. A lot of these skills are just going to be at 100 regardless, but if you see how they all add up, you definitely know that one more level up here would not get everything to 100. Like you need the perk that gives you more skill points, first of all, to get anywhere close, and then you need at least 8 more levels, which the DLC gives you. Let's see. Local map. Where is the overseer's office? This is the door we came in on. They just totally let you in. Clinic, atrium. I assume that these doors are not like something I need to investigate. Well, maybe it is. Maybe I didn't investigate anything, or maybe this is just all been reset because we left the place and then came back. And yeah, I will say this story only kind of makes sense if the Matrix hadn't come out before this, and you somehow knew that it hadn't been just copied from the Matrix. If it had been written, if the writing had been a lot better, you can kind of say that about every part of this game, is that there's a lot of room. I don't know if I ever got a metal helmet. Yeah, let's just take the metal armor too. It's been a long time since we've played the standard parts of this game. But yeah, you aren't doing anything here that's super interesting. These x-rays have no business existing in this game. X-rays would never be an important item, or an important enough item. And it's kind of weird that the game basically wants you to fast travel to Rivet City also. If anything, I guess what we're doing here is taking the choice. It's got the little door mat, and it's not that damaged or destroyed. We're making a choice here, I think, specifically to have the game show us what a pre Brotherhood of Steel second act would look like in every single location, because we're trying to check everything else. No longer authorized to use the Tranquility Lounges. Oops. May have nothing I can do here then. Like, I assume I can't just do that. Or that. Well, when I first played the game, what I did was activate the Chinese simulation. So unless you have to actively wear the 112 jumpsuit, which is still not letting me use it. Alright, well, let's make a safety save. And then let's load Tranquility Lane. Now let's load this Tranquility Lane save file. Oops, I may have just saved over it. Before we do that, let's look at our karma too. Let's see what the stat was like that. We're good now instead of very good, so we did lose some karma. Load. This would have been what you could have done. Otherwise, this is where we started. So our karma should be at the highest point possible. We haven't even made the little boy cry, which the little boy also disappeared. He was not one of our victims. As far as the slasher, we didn't kill. So they sneakily made it so you could not kill the kid once again. Of course, this is basically a speed run way of solving this whole quest also. It's not a terrible thought, though, that they would want to bring your It's the same code each time. Yeah. It's not a terrible idea that they would want to just get rid of your karma and lower it down a little bit. That way you have something to regain through the rest of the game. Let's see. Initiate the failsafe. Let's see how this goes. Review documentation before proceeding. The game actively is telling you have to read all of this. Okay. And so doing that, you gain karma. And you can exit now Tranquility Lane. Which, that seems like a very weird way to gain karma. What's funny is what you see here is the people getting gunned down and killed. Which, in all fairness, they very well may have died if you tried to take them out of the pods anyways. These guys are not doing anything to me. And let's see if we can talk to him. And we don't really see. It's interesting, the subtitles are in English, but the talk is in English. Or in Chinese. Yep. Doc is left fine. Let's talk to Betty.
Do you realize what you've done? You've triggered the failsafe, ruined everything. The subjects will die, and I'll be stuck here in this hell alone.
You ruined everything. Everything.
I'm calling the shots now.
You? No, I am the creator of this world.
Feels so lost. So all alone.
Tell me about the Gek.
The Garden of Eden creation kit. It was for terraforming, for restoring the world after a nuclear disaster.
This is kind of a great example, though, of
technology,
like
ultimately boring. Why remake
them making it seem like the bad choices were the good choices, and not making it very clear.
He's been right here the whole time.
And
you were too
they're not really feeling like there's a good.
The dog, you see.
There is a good
Man's best
option.
friend. But now you've taken all my friends from me.
Let's just go through all the dialogue.
Yes, I'm sure he's fine. No doubt when you leave the simulation, he'll be waiting for you.
But there's no one waiting for me.
It is my greatest achievement. The best of the many simulations I've run in these 200
It would
years.
have been better
I
to keep
played
them
with the others,
alive.
But they bored me. This version never grew old. It amused me over and over
For
and over
their
again.
knowledge of pre-war history alone, but that's not really an option.
My name is Stanislaus Braun. I'm a Vault-Tech scientist.
And
I
you get a
created
very
this
different
simulation for
lines of
Vault-Tech,
dialogue
but
here
for myself as well.
compared
It
to
was my own
what I
design,
got the other
my
way.
own perfection. A better reality than any other.
This really would have
Operated
been a
my work
great
with
thing
Jack.
to happen right at the beginning of the game. That way, on your second playthrough, you could play it completely different. Whereas the tutorial section at the beginning of the game is so linear, you really can't do much different.
Isn't it obvious? You've run the failsafe, disrupted everything. I have no power over you.
There's the door. Go. Run along now.
Same run along now. Yeah. And very different experience here. Very, very different experience. Again, the father comes out. Apparently, I hit the button.
You've saved me. I was afraid I'd be trapped in there forever. Oh, it's so good to see you, but what are you doing here?
Let's see.
Well, I didn't expect Dr. Braun to be alive and insane.
We'll try some different
Thought I'd just find
lines of
notes or
dialogue here.
holotapes.
Very different
I
experience,
needed
whereas
information about Braun.
almost every other
His work.
quest in the game, which it definitely feels like,
I did indeed.
it-
Braun's work.
yeah, it definitely feels like this
designed
quest
to
was built by a
readapt environments
completely
for
different
living
team
off
that didn't
really
work
good
on any other part of the
It's
game.
not entirely stable, but I'm sure the components of that technology
And
are
just
what
so
we need,
extremely different.
what we've been missing all this
Yes,
time.
we've
We
seen
need
some
to return
different
to Rivet City.
actions you can
Once
take
Madison
to
knows about the gecko,
do the same
we'll
thing,
get her to
and
see that it really will
you
work.
can choose to betray some people.
I can't do this on my own. Madison, Dr. Lee has a team of scientists
Yeah.
working at Rivet City. They'll have to
The
help. The facility hasn't been used in years.
robot quest
enough
that I
work
really
for a good
failed
number of
on
people,
and didn't get the
and it will
specific
take us a
perk
while.
I could have gotten.
The sooner I get to Rivet
Or
City,
the robot
sooner Madison and
quest I
can
could
get
have
to
just
work.
taken further and investigated further, is another great example of having a very, very different and frankly bad way in which you could have finished a main quest.
Yes, what about you? Why in fact are you outside the vault at all? I don't even want to know how you got out. As much as I appreciate your help.
You're having
you're
very
supposed to
different
stay there, to
responses
make a
here.
life for yourself there, not out here.
Let's see.
You were supposed to stay put. You could have had a good life in the vault.
It takes a much more
I suppose
aggressive
it's too
turn
late
here.
to go back now, isn't it? The Overseer would likely have a shot on sight. Well then, you'll just have to come with me to Rivet City. You've certainly proven yourself capable enough.
Let's just head for Rivet City in this one and see what it does.
That's my girl. Let's hurry. Now that I know what we need, I want to get back to work as soon as possible.
So let's just not even bother talking,
Of course,
because
somehow, what's done is done. But if we succeed, I wouldn't be here if I didn't.
different lines of
I've learned from
dialogue
Dr.
that
Braun
clearly
I
you would
never
not
could
hear.
learn.
And
That's why
I-
it's so important to
it
find
really
Jack
sucks
as soon
when
as
people
possible.
make games like
It's the key
this
to Project
where
Clarity.
over a third of your game potentially is not going to be heard by any one player.
So am I, but
We'll just skip through all of that because this is all very linear dialogue. Right.
Be careful, sweetie.
Just gonna go ahead and put that up to 100. Put that up to 100. Put that up to 90. That's pretty much the same. And we'll still take the Explorer perk. So, they're still sitting here. Yeah, and now they're dead. But they're still sitting in the same spot. Yep. So the game still pretty much has done the same thing. Just this time, the game is going to have us as a companion walk around. And either we follow him or we leave him behind. I think he probably would. Yeah, you almost want to protect your father. I still don't think that there's anything else that we can really miss here.
Hello, man.
Part of the problem, though, with this is there was that scrap metal, so we do want to check in on that. Yep, and he's just trapped in there forever, all by himself. There's still nothing in his inventory or in his safe. See if we can wander around and find the place we hadn't searched before. Let's see, this way. And then does this go up? Yeah, this door tells me we hadn't been here before. Scrap metal is still too valuable to be left behind. Although maybe not, really. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if the rest of the game kind of is surprisingly more streamlined and linear since we've done all the side quests and everything. Plus, the main story, now that it has started to pick up, really makes it harder to potentially want to get distracted and run around doing other things. Let's see if we could walk down this way.
Hello, man.
Hey, we could. Like, we could shoot the robo brains for XP. Interesting. Nothing on them, though. And seemingly self-repairing. RoboBrain is unconscious. Search RoboBrain. And then they go unconscious for a second. And then they reset. Interesting. So this is just such a scripted environment that you can't even kill them for XP if you wanted to, which I think once again just highlights how these systems in this game are not full systems. They fall apart under scrutiny. Is it really fun, though, I must ask, to potentially have to walk and follow this guy for as far as we're going to have to walk? Unless he's got some major shortcut. I mean, we are talking all the way across the map. It really doesn't make sense. This is the first time we've had an actual companion of any sense. Oh. But can we talk to him? Or are we just going to have to follow him all the time? Notice that the 101 on his uniform is gold and I think is white. Otherwise, yeah, you can't talk to him because he just runs forward the whole time. So the only thing I could think that might be interesting here is if he manages to walk in a specific spot. Hunter?
What do you need?
Let's see.
Sure.
Let's see what we can sell. Not a lot. We'd just be buying meat.
Give me a shout if you need later.
Kind of weird to have a wandering trader. If anything, the game has decided to start putting a lot more enemies on the overworld just to spice up this experience. Well, I assume your father is practically immortal. Like, would make very little sense if he could die. This would be where you would see in most games a character talking to you, giving you some backstory. All that dialogue that we just had face to face could have been had as he's talking. He could have said, "Follow me, we've got to get out of here, follow me. And I'll tell you everything you want to know." If they are just going to have you wander and follow this guy the whole time, let's just also point out how little we have traveled so far. It is quite the journey. We started here. It seems like he's just going to get on the road and mostly stick to the road. Yeah, it probably would have been better for them to have just straight up had him leave you and say, "Meet me back at Rivet City." Or have him have some kind of way to travel that you could not follow with. Or even have the Brotherhood of Steel swoop up and like transport to you that way. I mean, it definitely feels like there should have been more of a quest. What is our status, by the way, as far as our karma? Still Restorer of the Faith, very good, because we did the Chinese invasion simulation. Yeah, as interesting as Tranquility is, because it stands out amongst a lot of repetitive garbage that is in Fallout 3, and Fallout 3 definitely shows itself as being one of the founding fathers of the open world Bethesda games that somehow that succeeded and then caused a lot more copycats to do the same thing and not innovate or improve on the Bethesda model, which is a pretty bad model by modern standards. And I would say only now, slightly recently, that we have more online games as services, MMO style games, still giving a lot of repetitive garbage but charging a monthly fee for it. Only then now does that monetize it in such a way that when a new content drops in an MMO, there is actually more effort to it than this game, where there's just a heck of a lot of copying and pasting going on and a heck of a lot of nothing in the open world. Obviously, if you're going to remaster and remake this game, you would scale down the open world quite a bit. I believe this is a Roboco or Nuka-Cola factory. No, Roboco factory. I've already been there. So that very well may be the only time that the game actually even forces you to know that that exists, let alone actually going into the building and investigating for something. Some reason. It's just a lot of nothing. It almost feels like there is a finite number of enemies in the overworld, and they are all spawned at the very beginning when you start a new game, and then they just use their AI to kind of wander around. So me potentially shooting mole rats and rad roaches and sentry bots and Mr. Handies and all of those, maybe I was killing a very limited resource of XP. That would almost justify the idea of the rad roaches in particular no longer giving me XP when I kill something, when I kill them. But I still don't really find that justifiable. Where is he? Again, this would be a very early game scenario here, to have somebody that you have to follow lead you into areas and lead you into combat, as if you haven't been doing that for over 100 hours at this point. Let's see. Dad is his only name. You'd almost expect there to be an achievement around ensuring that he doesn't take any damage at all, and that this was like almost an on-rail shooter quest to change things up. That is the one thing I guess this follow-up mission to Tranquility Lane is giving you, is something different instead of your normal wandering around. But almost certainly what's going to happen here is we will let's just leave that one alone, I guess.
That's the way it has to be.
We'll be given, I suspect, another dialogue prompt to move the story forward. He was just going to punch that dog. Only getting 2 XP for killing vicious dogs now. You'd almost expect him to walk over a hill and then you see something you've just never seen before, like the Brotherhood of Steel. Like a working Brotherhood of Steel vehicle, for instance. And then super mutants like attacking that vehicle and taking the father back to Rivet City, and then you getting separated again. something fairly dynamic. Like, very little reward here if there was actual interest or anxiety about reuniting with your father. Just having that short conversation dialogue prompts and then nothing else. Where are we on the map at this point? We are walking into Annandale, which I guess is a place we haven't visited before, but we managed to avoid everything else. What's Annandale's deal? We have no idea. Yeah, we would have to come back and investigate it further later and see if we can squeeze some more blood out of the stone that is this game. This is basically the worst way you can add quest markers and new locations that you can fast travel to for a player, by having them just follow somebody to that location. It's a very natural, like, real world way in which that might happen, or something similar might happen, but video games really don't succeed if you're trying to simulate how things would work in the real world. He's gonna try and punch a Uguay, apparently. Nope, 2 Uguays. That could have gone badly. Where is he? He's stuck over the bodies. This is the Nuka-Cola plant, if you hadn't found that. It would make some sense for him to just go to the Arlington Library and call it at that point, because the direction he's going right now actually is not going to get him to Rivet City without him just
Won't let it end like this.
without just having him swim. So he's either locked on somebody. And that was a green named raider at the end of that. And see, that's reset his position a little bit, but he is, by all rights, seeming like he's just trying to, he's gonna just try and swim. Which, yeah, if you didn't even script a good script and a good path for him to follow for this section of gameplay, then it really should have been left on the cutting room floor. Which is, I guess, this game in a nutshell. There's totally a lot of stuff that obviously should have been left on the cutting room floor in favor of polishing like the 90%. Oh yeah, I think I may have the quest that resets my action points once I get a kill, so if that is true, that really hasn't helped much in the gameplay, because you can only lock in so many shots anyways. So you get a laser gun here that might have a decent amount of shots, and you can put one of them in your you could put one shot down for each character, and then it will reset everything. And then if there was, say, 3 more raiders in the area, you could then shoot at 3 more without having to wait. But honestly, that never happens. You always get maybe 5 raiders, and with this laser in particular, with its low amount of shots, low amount of energy it uses per shot, I could potentially try for a headshot on 5 characters and get it. Or most of the time get it. Yeah. Again, this would have been a much more dangerous area had I not already come through this area and killed a bunch of people. Alright. And he's not a real companion, so I can't just give him stuff. Let's see, recon armor. Where is he? He's here. He's stuck. He got blown up into this area.
What do you need?
Alright, so at the end, even following him...
I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you'll consider meeting me in Rivet City. Be careful, sweetie.
Alright, so he's stuck, and he won't glitch out of that for a while. If he can ever glitch out of it, because he's trying to go that way. Which doesn't even really make for anything. Are there enemies around? Really? And how far are we from the Arlington Library? We have no reason to do that. There you go. We assume he'll be safe. Otherwise the game has just really let us screw ourselves over. Yeah, I don't even care about picking up cherry bombs. So we marked Annandale. So it does make sense to investigate this before we start investigating other things. But yeah, either we'll set ourselves up for some amazingly glitchy failure of the game in general. Strange meat 10, interesting. I should take that. The lost karma is not gonna matter. Jenny Wilson. Oh, why is a light working? That's kind of crazy to have a fully functional desk light. Steal. Lose karma for stealing bobby pins.
Aha! Where?
Yep. Nope. They caught me stealing. Let's talk to Martha Wilson.
Why, hello there. I heard there was someone new coming. How can our little family help you?
We have no quest that says we should be welcomed here.
Are you joking? It's fantastic here. The best town in the USA. Has been for, why, it's been so many years running that I've lost count. Oh, well, no one ever asks me my opinion about anything, but I love it here.
So you can see how they're wearing like
We'll see you again, won't we?
almost clean outfits and living kind of deluded
Well,
lifestyles.
hi there. Welcome to Annandale. I'm Willie Wilson, though folks just call me Bill. Is there anything I can do for you? I feed my family, and I love my wife and daughter. What else more is there to life, stranger? Family first. And any man who says anything different is saying something wrong. And you should hit that man. with a stick.
Hmm.
Why, it's a place to settle down and raise a family. Of course, we don't just let anyone in here. The Homeowners Association is very clear on that.
I guess this is probably a
Besides, there's no
joke
room.
on
As amazing as
gentrification.
Andale is it any wonder that all the houses would be full of happy families?
All right. That just ended that conversation. I could see
what do you
trying
want?
to pretend.
Hello again. Did you need something else?
Trying to pretend that everything was fine. Well, we know strange meat is human flesh. And that they're cannibals. Obviously, and they're obviously crazy. But I don't know what we have to do to start the quest, though. The basement, very hard. Refrigerator's full of strange meat also. Back to being irradiated with any kind of water we try to drink. See if there's actually anybody in this building. Yep. Basement key if we needed to steal it.
Yes.
Hmm.
Hello there, young lady.
Yeah, this almost
Good to
feels
meet
like
ya.
this is the
Name's Smith,
quest
Jack Smith.
of
Welcome to Andale, the best little town in Virginia.
being a thief.
Not here, not in Andale, no ma'am. The great Commonwealth of Virginia is alive and well. In fact, we just voted ourselves a new governor.
Hmm.
The adults walked right on down to the polling location and dropped ballots into the box. How do you think it works? Yes, sir, it's every American's civic duty to cast his vote for his favorite Republican candidate. Am I right?
It's kind of funny that they would say Republican here. Although maybe they meant that as in the fact that the United States is a republic, but yeah. I don't feel like they probably should have used that phrase. That's too much of a buzzword.
Yes, sir, democracy is God's best gift, right after family, of course.
They don't talk about religion much in this game either, so it seems like they've put all of the potentially inflammatory comments on one character.
Now, my vote is my business and no one else's. But I'll tell you one thing, we didn't vote for any beatnik liberal commies, that's for sure.
It's probably impossible to be a beatnik and a liberal and a commie. But whatever.
And it's good to meet you, too. Feel free to stay in Andale as long as you like. Heck, stop by the house for dinner sometime if you'd like. Just let Linda know beforehand so she can make enough for 4. I hope to see you there. So, did you need anything else? I work to feed my family just like every red-blooded American man should. Why a man
Well,
that
they
can't
may
keep
be
his family
crazy.
fed
They're not
isn't any
that
kind of
crazy,
man at all.
obviously,
No,
because
sir.
somebody's giving them the strange meat. And they're procuring it almost certainly through
Andale, greatest place
hunters
there is. We win town of the
or
year every year. We've
through
got no
killing
end of
people.
food and no troubles at all. Yep, there's no better place to raise a family.
So yeah, you can't think them 100% innocent. They're not really innocent even if they didn't realize their actions.
Well, hello. Well, I don't right
A
know.
lot of dialogue
But
here.
we're the best
Once
one.
again, when
Isn't
you
that what matters?
enter an area.
I mean, we're the winners.
I guess this is
Us.
supposed to be
Not Springfield. Not Rockville.
another city you might end up
So, like I was saying, welcome to Andale.
living in
What
if
can
you
the Smith
went down
family
the
do for
cannibal
you?
path. But there's kind of no reason
It's the best
at
little
all
town
to
there is.
go down that
We don't
path.
have a care in the world here. I mean, honestly, what more do you need to know?
Once again, if there was a mod for this game where at the very beginning it said, do you want to play as a good guy? If so, we're going to start you in this city. Do you want to play as a bad guy? We'll start you in this city. If you're going to play as a cannibal, we'll start you here. If you're going to play as a vampire, we'll start you there. If you're going to play as a slaver, we'll start you there. Good guy and bad guy, probably too generic choices. But I mean, obviously, the generic good guy would start in Megaton, and the generic bad guy would start in Tenpenny.
Really? Don't be such a stranger.
There is an interesting argument whether you have any kind of moral obligation to kill cannibals.
What's your problem?
I guess they probably will kill
new
more
here, aren't
people
you?
over their
Wow.
lifetime than the average
I've
person.
never got a chance to talk to the new people. Dad always takes care of them before I get a chance. It's okay, I guess. There aren't a lot of kids around here, and no one who comes to visit stays around long. Dad says it could be worse, that there are a lot of starving kids in other places. But still, I wish I had more kids to play with.
And then these are kids, once again, that are not in Little
The same
Lamplight.
things that all parents do. My mom cooks and cleans the house, and my dad goes to work with Mr. Wilson. They work in the basement, or sometimes in Mr. Wilson's shed. Dad says that when I'm older, I'll come to work with him, and we're in the family business. It's swell, except I wish there were more kids, and my dad says I'm gonna have to marry smelly old Ginny Wilson someday. He keeps saying stuff to my mom about keeping the family going, and how when him and Mr. Wilson were brothers, they didn't want to get married. It's weird. That means Mr. Wilson is my uncle, and Ginny is
Your cousin?
something. I don't know. It seems weird to marry her.
Yeah.
So long.
Interesting that there really are two categories of people called the family. And again, you have a lamp lit. This would have been a great point to also have the hallucinations come back, if that was going to be the way things worked, where you walk in these houses and then you have a hallucination that this is a regular house pre-war. Of course, that would be very repetitive to see that now, since we just came out of the simulation. But if we had run into Annandale much earlier, that would have made sense. It was fairly possible that you would have. Megaton is here if you had just followed the road south, but you kind of didn't have any reason to follow the road south, and even if you did make it there, you'd probably get distracted by Fairfax ruins first. Also got another letter from Vault Tech, which I assume we've already looked at, so it's not even in the notes. The rest of Annandale looks like it is going to be just destroyed, which is for the better, because we really didn't need to have 5 more buildings with 5 more crazy families. And then, yeah, it just straight up stops at that point. Kind of seems like there might be something there. Hey, left trigger does zoom in. Has that always worked? I've just been too stupid to figure it out? It's possible. We have the repair all the way to 100. Excuse me. Again, sorry about coughing so much in this recording. It's really going to be the only way I may manage to make any recordings, though, so kind of had to stick with that idea. And these coughing fits happen too often and too quickly for me to catch myself. Yeah. Looks like there might be something there, but it's not really a thing that's marked on the map, and it is certain at this point anything that's not marked specifically on the map is so unimportant that it just totally shouldn't be investigated in favor of just moving the main story forward quicker. I do want to get back to the idea of checking out all these locations now that they're marked on the map, and that will lead to a lot of distractions, certainly, but I think in the long run we are going to spend maybe 3 or 4 hours of gameplay time
Who are you?
running around.
What? How? How did you get in here? What are you doing in this town? Get out! Get out while you can!
Interesting that he's trying to warn you.
What's wrong? You don't see anything wrong with a quiet little town full of friendly people in the middle of a blasted
I
wasteland?
wonder if they're keeping him alive because because he's like the father of the two brothers.
And you're right sensible, too. Especially around here. The friendly neighbor bit is just an act. These people are stone-cold killers. Get out while you can. Just get as far away from here as possible.
See, this might have been a kind of great place to have the Mr. Sandman ability so that you could shoot them in their sleep. He's got a Nuka-Cola to his name. I'll leave it to him. Yeah, it's not much of an investigation here. Alright, well. Safety save. Pick the lock. We've got 10 bobby pins. 100% lockpick skills. Hmm. $60 XP in here. Seemingly no real question. Take the strange meat. Let's not take any more strange meat, otherwise we're going to lose a lot of karma in general. So yeah, they know what they're doing.
Hey there, stranger. I got something I want to talk to you about. I couldn't help but notice that you were poking around in Bill's shed.
I guess that
So,
just
did
means
you find what you were looking for in there?
the quest here. Let's try our speech check of 42%, which, yeah, seems like your speech check fails in a lot of these scenarios. Maybe it's because my karma is too high. Maybe it's because I'm not a cannibal.
I'm afraid that it just doesn't work that way. I guess we know where the next meal is coming from.
Alright, so all the parents were in on it, and this is a very just like natural turn of how this is going to go without really giving us a Annandale quest. There could have been a thought, certainly, that maybe the women weren't in on it. But they dispelled that. Combat knife. Knife. Basement key. Actually shouldn't have picked that up. Let's put that back. Can we put it back? I think by the time, if you even pick something up that's a key, it immediately goes into your key ring. Yeah. Yeah, it would have started with A. See if I can pick it back. see. Shed key. Might as well take that. Okay. Let's go talk to the old man. You can see the two kids are with him.
Welcome to Andale.
Mm.
I saw what happened out there, stranger.
Mm.
Those people may have been my family, but it had to be done. I was like them for so many years. I can't even talk about it.
So he started the whole
only
thing.
I can do is try to raise these kids and make Andale into a decent place.
Let's see.
They'll stay here with me, and I'll raise them myself. It's a shame that they have to grow up without their parents. But to tell you the truth, it's a lot better than growing up with their parents, everything considered. Better an orphan than a cannibal, I guess. We'll do our best is what we'll do. Me and the kids here in Andale.
I guess
What's
it's
left of it anyway.
Andale, not
It'll be
Annandale.
hard going, but we'll
Which
do the best we
I guess
can.
there's two cities.
I just hope that one day these kids will grow up to do some good for this place after all the evil that's been done here.
The shame here is that if this story was a little bit better, people would probably care about it a lot more and want to see what happened a generation in the future, somewhere around 2177, for instance. 100 years in the future, probably too much. Maybe somewhere around 21, 22, 50 years in the future, 21, 27, where these kids would have grown up. Unfortunately, that's not the case because people would be way more interested in seeing a continuation of New Vegas' story.
Sure did. Can't say that I'm proud of it, though. It was all just normal. It's what we all did. I didn't ever think much about it. I married Gladys, just like every boy in Andale married the girl closest to his age. We had Linda.
So it's like
She grew
inbreeding.
up to marry Jack. It wasn't until Gladys died that I thought about what went on around here. So many people over the years, hundreds, thousands maybe. But what could I do? I'm just an old man. But you ended it. Bless
Of course,
you.
he's going to probably die before these kids are fully grown.
Yeah, see you.
I wouldn't be surprised if you kind of come back and
What's up?
find that the kids have killed him.
I'm not really sure what happened. Mr. Harris said that our parents went away.
Interesting, the
They
girl
won't be
just
back.
doesn't talk to you. He
said
does.
that he'll tell me more about it when I'm older, but I miss my mom and dad. Dad says that I shouldn't want to leave Andale, but I do.
Right. Well, we'll leave him with his Nuka-Cola. We'll go steal all the strange meat and bobby pins in the other bedroom houses. Nope, still lose karma for stealing strange meat. That being said, you know it's going to play a bigger role. I don't know if I really need to be stealing the rippers. A lot of knives. Yeah. You kind of have a moral obligation to kill cannibals because their need to kill for meat is going to be really high. Like, humans, definitely not a large source of meat compared to like a cow, where a family could probably eat the meat off of a cow for, I'd say, at least 6 months, if not a year or more. Of course, this is also a different kind of world because you're not growing a lot of plants. And the karma system still feels very oddly inaccurate. That I'd be punished for stealing from dead cannibals in particular. I'm not going to take any pre-war money pretty much anymore at all. It's pretty obvious it's not going to play any role. Or if it does, it'll be such a small role it won't matter. from the feel of it, it definitely seems like you would have potentially had them interbreeding so much anyways that they may very well have died out from just inbreeding. Should probably go and drop some things in Megaton and call it an episode. There's a basement key. You could just steal a whole bunch of stuff. No first aid kits anywhere? That's very weird, though. You have to admit that you would walk past this because the game is pointing you towards walking past it with your father, and then you would get distracted and have this whole little side mission that they don't even give you XP for or tell you anything about it. What would be surprising is if there was some creature or person here. Mark Grunt outfit. Almost wonder Ragnar the Barbarian, if maybe he would have talked to me had I gotten here first. Several different outfits here. This would have been kind of a great place if you just wanted to collect outfits. This is probably one of the best versions of the good uses of the cages and the torturing and all. It makes sense. It feels like it is very much connected to the story that we're being told. And I just don't think there's anything else secret there, though. We have too much garbage. Go ahead and drop that. Go ahead and drop that. Let's see, Vault 106 jumpsuits. We'll get rid of all but one of those. And I think what we're really running into here is, alright, tumblers today, might as well read it. We have 80 pounds of strange meat on us, which is quite a lot. We have one purified water, we don't want to get rid of that. Nuka-Cola Quantums and Nuka-Colas we don't want to get rid of. Ragnar the Barbarian increases melee weapons, which is, we still haven't put a lot of XP in that. That's 24 more things that need to be dropped. We have the bobblehead of science on us. Interesting. And I don't think fission batteries are the valuable ones. I think it's the others that are valuable. Sensor modules. Let's see if we were to drop just all the fission batteries. That should unencumber us. Enough. And then you're at a position now where you potentially run back this way to check out that physical thing, or you just fast travel the Megaton. Almost want to just walk to Megaton. Just have a leisurely stroll. And if the game let me run, I might actually embrace that idea. But in reality, that's kind of crazy. Like, they're going to show you something over here. And even if there is something over here of interest to look at, it's probably going to give me something that over-encumbers me again. And this is where the fast traveling concept in most games falls apart with when you have over-encumbrance. Is because you if you have over-encumbrance as an option, then fast traveling back to a place like Megaton to empty your inventory then kind of requires you to fast travel back to where you were to start. It's a round trip instead of a process that would actually speed up movement. Because obviously this is a location I haven't been to before, and I want to approach it from the same angle that I started with. Let's see. Seriously? Shouldn't be having this much trouble. Lost karma. Apparently. I don't know why I just lost karma. These are raiders. Scavenger. A lot of battle caps. A lot of energy cells. Laser pistol. Wow, this guy has a lot of stuff on him. That is a lot of stuff. Flour. This might be one of the few places where you can actually find flour too. Let's see. Does he have anything else on him that's weightless? Just bullets. So. Let's see. Thankful. Morpheus. Can't be traders and patents. Let's see. Go ahead and just deactivate the turret system. We could have also shot that. Of course, we'd have to know where the turrets are. They weren't shooting at me, so I have to assume that they're kind of below me or they've already been destroyed. You have a broom, but you can't pick up a broom. One bottle cap, which is not stealing, but everything else is. Yeah, I have no idea if there was supposed to be a turret up there. It's apparently already been destroyed, and this guy's already dead. There might have been a whole storyline quest there that just didn't happen because I didn't get to it fast enough. That would be about the only thing I could guess. I don't want a 10mm submachine gun. Yeah. can see some flickering over there that might be a firefight. We can see that there is also a unfilled in triangle this way. But if I was going to Megaton, then I would need to walk up this direction and follow the road. Yeah. You might run into a few things here and there. But we've already been to this building. And so this building should have acted as a central marker to say, hey, come check out this world, because, or check out this area, because there's a lot going on in this area. And from that, you would have expected it there to have been something to push us to walk this way. Even standing here right now, I have no breadcrumb, no indicator that I should even walk this way. This looks like this could be a cliff you just fall off. Like there's nothing interesting that way. And maybe you just need to spawn enemies so that they can find you.
I wish there were more people like you. Certainly.
I don't know what the other thing is that we need. Alright, so we have science, speech, medicine, and big guns. Which means some of the things that we have brought to 100% are not necessary. And we've wasted some points. I don't think I particularly care that much though. Let's see. Chinese officer sword, 13. Since we can repair things now. Combat knife does damage of 10, so let's sell it. Knife does seemingly 7, but it could go a lot further. We could take these flamers. Take this ripper. You can look at the shish kebab. Alright. Let's look at our weapons now. One flamer can be at the maximum there. Sell that Chinese officer sword. Combat knife can be sold. Laser pistol, missile launcher. Rippers can be repaired and kept. That does 28 damage. I'm never going to really use it though. Shish kebab can only be really repaired with other shish kebabs. So, sell the assault rifle. Sell the sword. Sell the combat knife. Keep the flamer. Keep the knife. Keep the laser pistol, as stupid as that. Keep the missile launcher. Keep the ripper. Scope to magnum, maybe. That and that. We really only need this one and this one. As far as outfits, I think I'll just put this here, this here, this here. That, and that. And then I'll look specifically at apparel and see if we've got 2 of anything. Enclave power armor versus Enclave power armor. I mean, we could repair things. Actually, we should turn in one of the power armors. Mark Adventurer. a lot of these things I have used the repair ability when my repair was just slightly below 100%. And I've probably wasted some things because of that. Alright, apparel. Mark Adventurer's outfit versus Mark Adventurer's outfit. We should sell one of those. Recon armor. Go ahead and repair one of those. Repair one of those. So we'll hold on to that. And then that, and that one. Okay.
Welcome home, madam.
Next step would be to go ahead and just add all these here. Take all of those out. Suppose we probably don't even need to heal radiation, so we'll ignore that. As far as food items now, I'll just put these in the refrigerator. And 80 pounds of strange meat. And Ultra Jet. And then Tales of Junktown Jerky vendor is the book that would increase bartering, I assume. Do we have purified water? Yes, we do. Flour, though I think is a miscellaneous item. Barter increased by 2 is basically doing nothing. You shouldn't take so much purified water, though. Do we have any flour? No. So, hold on to that. Still have done nothing with the Coca-Cola formula. So I don't even remember where it's supposed to go. Wasteland Survival Guide. One sensor module being held back. It's probably a mistake even at that, so we'll take that with us. And everything else seems to be in line somewhat. We don't really have anything here. We'd have to create more shish kebabs, I think, to repair a shish kebab up to full health. And frankly, we may create one and it might just be at full health anyways, or full durability would be the right word to use. Right. We're going a little bit long here, but I do want to wrap up everything in a nice bow. I doubt we're going to get a full level upgrade here. That would be asking a little too much. We've got a little bit of scrap metal and a little bit of stuff we could sell. And there's actually more to do than just sell this stuff. We need to also go to the rebels and sell some stuff to them.
Yeah. Well, all right. Let me count out your cash.
88 XP. Still nothing to shake a stick at. What do you have on sale? Actually, we should ask her what she can repair. Although, ghoul mask would be about the only thing she could repair. We could waste money and repair that anyways.
Sure thing.
It kind of doesn't matter. And then don't think we have anything here worth trying to sell. And we don't want to go crazy with any of this. We may very well finish the game and only have less than 30 mini nukes. And we've played a lot of the game for that. We sell Jet and Med-X, Psycho and Mentos. Can definitely sell most of those. Probably less than that. And let's see, what did she have for purchase if we wanted to consider any of that? Seems like you could buy radiation suits from her over and over again. Right. And she doesn't really have any miscellaneous stuff of importance. We can buy some bullets. Maybe some bullets there too. Sell about 10 of those and call that even. We're over 20,000 now.
Hunting.
As far as caps.
Remember, I'll buy whatever you're selling.
Now, can we fast travel from this location to this location? No. Can we fast travel from this location to this location? Yes. And see if he'll take the sensor modules.
Well, look who it is. Let's see what you've got.
And the Enclave armor.
Well, I'll be damned. The Advanced Power Armor Mark II. This is superb. Absolutely superb. Now, what can I give you in return?
Interesting, he changed into the armor.
Here. This is some pretty heavy-duty stuff. We'll take good care of it. Now, what can I give you in return?
Interesting that he's just straight up changing into an Enclave.
Here, enjoy them in good health. It's how'd you? Here's hoping you don't have to. Okay then. We were. You may.
And there's no other lines of dialogue.
Fine. Get going.
Interesting, so he's just now.
If it isn't our local. Bye.
He's just now more armored, which you almost expect that the traders would also become more armored if that was the case. It's kind of ridiculous that he would put on the outfit and change his appearance, though. So what does that leave us as far as other items? We've got 22 pounds of purified water. And I guess we can't leave ourselves hanging that much. Let's go to Rivet City. So what we want to find out here is if the dad made it to Rivet City or not.
Please help me. I'll never forget you. You saved my life.
Just give him all the purified water. He probably is just going to max the karma back up to the highest it could be.
You saved my life.
But I seriously doubt there's much of a difference being at 1,000 karma versus 900 karma.
I'll never forget you.
In general, the major actions we've done
You saved my life.
swung the karma levels way more.
You helped me so much.
And it kind of feels like the secondary, the major decisions like not blowing up Megaton probably lock you into certain descriptors as far as whether you're the savior of the people or not. So there may very well be like 2 karma systems in the game. Although I don't think there really is. It feels like there could be.
You saved my life. You've helped me so much. You've helped me so much.
See, even if you're a nice guy, though, giving 22 purified waters to the beggar and nothing to anybody else in all of Rivet City is still a little awkward and weird decision. Feels like you should be able to just give purified water to every character you could talk to, if you're carrying purified water. It should have just been a default response, and thanks should just have been
You saved my life.
should have just been a default line of dialogue that any voice actor did. Right. So this is the robot guy, by the way, Harkness.
Is there a
We
problem?
never moved the story forward on that.
Carry on then.
Here we can see
Leave me alone.
there's a lot of people.
Can you spare enough for a drink? I could really use one.
Just people all over the place.
Hey.
A lot of security guards. A lot of stuff that you could sneak into and try and steal. If you so cared. How is our inventory, by the way? Now we're down to 60. Which honestly we probably don't even need to be holding on to the Chinese assault rifle, but we'll hold on to it. If we could get to this seems to work fairly well. And of course we have just a ridiculous amount of things. I guess I could have sold them more sensor modules. Whoops. I'm assuming that we will just see our father at the science lab.
Yes?
Told you it would work, Madison. And now I can prove it.
James, you're back.
And with good news. I was right about Brawn and the Gek. If we can find one, we can adapt it to work with the purifiers.
Just listen to this cutscene. Which it really should just be a cutscene.
So sudden.
Madison, I'm telling you, this is real. I talked to Brawn himself. He confirmed it. Don't you see?
This
is
also should be a main quest starter.
I don't know, James. So many years have passed. Is it really still worth trying?
How could it not be worth
What's funny is this may very well just be idle chit chat, and we may have to actually talk to him.
It's as important to me as ever, Madison. I know it's
I wouldn't be surprised if this loops in this circle.
James, we don't have a Gek. I can get a small team together, but we'll need proof that it works before people believe us.
I know, I was thinking about that. The lab at the facility had some old pre-war computers that we scavenged. One of them might be useful.
From the last reports, there's no power at the facility. Even if one of those computers had a database, we couldn't access it.
That's why we're going to head over there right now and get things up and running as best we can.
You know, if it were anyone else asking me to do this, I'd have them run right out of Rivet City.
You know I wouldn't be here if I didn't think this would really work. It's time, Madison.
Damn you, James. When this is all over, you owe me a drink. I'll get the team together.
Thank you, Madison. It's good to be working.
Very long cutscene here compared to everything else.
You found him? I can't believe it.
And see, still you have to have this whole tall.
We would be lost without James. No, of course not. I'm simply glad that our work can continue. James is essential to the project, that's all, really.
We have another dialogue
I have
here.
faith in your father. With the knowledge he's gained,
So I
you
guess
stand a
she's
better
going to
chance
be
than
kind of
we
your
ever have.
adopted new mother.
Farewell.
Of course,
everything all right?
you really wouldn't feel like that because you grew up without a mother.
We need to get back to Project Purity. The computer there is our best chance to locate a Gek. Probably, but we have to try, don't we? It's too important for the people of the wasteland to let fear stop us now. We need to get moving right away. Are you coming with us? Are you sure? We could use your help. If you change your mind, you can always meet up with us along the way. If nothing else, come see me once we're set up.
Again, it's not really worth it to follow him, I don't think. So that's just how the Waters of Life is going to go this whole time. Pretty much as it is going to have us follow him multiple times. Let's see. Marketplace. What's the fastest way out of this location? The good news is he seems to be pretty much immortal when he travels to a location. And in this case, he would literally just have you walking from there to there. And since you had to go to the Jefferson Memorial anyways, it's not like you're going to probably run into a lot of fighting or problems. Is the Marketplace caravan guy down here? Nope, not right now. Alright, so we need to go back to Annandale. Wouldn't be surprised if it actually originally was Andale. Alright. So going forward, we will ignore the DLC area. There is also, I still kind of feel like a DLC area that is not marked on the map, which is probably fine. We'll go here, here, and then here. Then we'll probably just fast travel to this and look at all of these. And then we'll probably just kind of fast travel to this and check that place out. And then maybe fast travel and check out these locations. Even though I'm fairly certain Vault 87 is not a place we can actually get into, we might as well just check it out anyways. And then we'll probably want to fast travel here and make sure we get to that. And then maybe even fast travel here and make sure we get that. We may just go around the edges quite a bit, run around, filling in the gaps. Now that we know things are on the map like Vault 92, it makes a lot of sense to go and check those out again. And just see everything there is to be seen. The hardest part of this definitely will come down to making sure we've seen everything when there's a lot of squares. You can kind of see there's way too many squares. I did definitely miss over half of this game when I first played this, though. It's going to be really hard to zoom in tight. And how did I miss the White House? That's the real question I'd like to know. And then just make sure we've found everything. It's going to be a lot of Arlington. I think we're going to have to make a special effort to investigate too. There is definitely a high chance, though, that a lot of this also is going to be almost nothing, and that half of the locations are just fast travel locations, and there's a simple building there, if maybe not even that much. Anyways, we've gone very long. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.